Hello, BookTube. Well, we have a book haul, but we didn't go out to get it. It
No
came
shopping
to us.
today.
No
Yep.
shopping. Said massive book rearranging, as you can see. Of my library, a huge chunk of it has been rearranged. We did not touch the little book room. Well, actually, there are a few bookcases we didn't touch. We didn't touch a few rooms, but we handled this room completely.
Yes.
Feels wonderful. Also, for those of you who are tuning in here, 10 years from now or from Lithuania or whatever, my house guest is David Murphy.
Hello.
And David informs me that this is actually my 7,000th video. So, it's like you said yesterday, what more fitting way than just a mail haul?
Yeah, it's very appropriate.
I'm not going to do any big commemoration. I might do a live stream later on.
No Q&A.
No Q&A. No. I'm just going to do a mail haul. I just wanted to start off with the sappy part, which is thank you all. Thank you so much for being here and letting me drone on to you for 7,000 videos. No one else on YouTube competes with that at all. No one else comes close, I don't think. Not in the same amount of time, and not with the same amount of length in the videos. I do go on.
I know.
Yes, you probably know that.
On camera, off camera.
Unfortunately, he flies back home tomorrow.
Tomorrow morning.
And you get picked up at the airport and dropped off at the nearest Baptist church for 2 weeks of conversion therapy. We'll hope the conversion therapy really does the trick. Ordinarily, the patients have to be dragged in, but you'll be, no, admit me right away. Yeah. But I want to thank you all for watching these videos, for just watching, a weird old coot talk endlessly about books. And I guess if your 7,000th video is the time to say it. I want to add just a special little note of appreciation to the handful of you who've been here from the beginning. I can't even imagine. But that means that although I've never met most of that handful, we have spent a lot of time together. That means a lot to me. It really does. I know that sounds mushy, but that means a lot to me. So I don't. We're too manly.
I'm gonna be
I'm
sick.
crying. I know. So let's just start with the mail here and see what we have for video number 7,000. That's a rabbit hole. You could go down and steep down you rabbit hole. Okay, the Europa Editions. Let's see here. We also rearranged my work bookshelf, so I'm now wondering. It's the perfect size now. It won't tempt me anymore to just hold on to every piece of crap in the world. Not that Europa Editions puts out crap. They don't. They put out lovely books. They're wonderful people. So this comes out in June. This is Alan Parks. This is To Die in June. Is this do you know? A lot of you must know this. He's being compared to Ian Rankin and Stuart McBride. Stuart McBride is an author that I'm just acquainted with. He was an Edgar Award winner. He's back with a gripping new installment in the gritty Glasgow-based Henry McCoy series. A woman enters a Glasgow police station to report her son missing, but no record can be found of the boy. When Detective Harry McCoy, who is on temporary transfer from a station across town, discovers the family is part of a cultish Church of Christ's suffering, he suspects there is more to the boy's disappearance than meets the eye. Meanwhile, reports arrive of a string of poisonings on down-and-outs across the city. The dead are men who few barely notice, let alone care about. That means lots of people notice them. If you're saying few barely notice them, you're saying lots of people. That's all right. But as McCoy is painfully aware, among this desperate community is his own father. Goodness gracious. Okay, do any of you know the Henry, a la Hank McCoy? Do any of you know the Henry McCoy mysteries? This, I think, will be my first one. But I'm just holding this up. This is nothing. This is just a review copy. I don't have any cover art for you. But I don't know the series, so we'll see.
This little thing here now.
Oh, it's as light as a feather. That's not good. That's not good at all. We've been hefting around big, heavy books.
Yeah, I'm not complaining.
And he was looking at we made a history bookshelf. Just a whole history book. They're not They're not scattered all over the place anymore. They're in one place. And I had the ill luck to have help arranging my history bookcase with the one person who has the hugest World War II selection in the world. Mine looks paltry.
It's not even a whole shelf.
I am going to claw back some respectability because
All right.
the Roman books were elsewhere, and I have a lot of Roman history. So maybe this is tiny though. Oh, great. Okay, yes, this is Bloomsberry. Bloomsberry does a series of these little books called Object Lessons. It's a huge series. You could fill a bookcase with them. They're tiny little things that I believe are egregiously overpriced. Is that right? Well, it's not on here. I don't have a pub sheet for this, but they just pick up a certain subject. I've liked some of them quite a bit. This one is by Stuart Lawrence Sinclair, and it is Space Rover. I have a feeling I'm going to like this quite a bit. These things are working. They're communicating back to their makers right now on alien worlds. So that's just what this is. Let's see here. In 1971, the first lunar rover arrived on the moon. The design became an icon of American ingenuity, and the adventurous spirit and vision made many equated with the space race. 50 years later, that vision feels like a nostalgic fantasy, but the lunar rover's legacy paved the way for the Mars rovers like Sojourner, Curiosity, Perseverance. You're leaving out there one, Bub. You're leaving out the one that broke the ground for all of them. Why? Because perhaps the person who wrote this cover copy is not a NASA dweeb. Other rovers have made accessible the world's deepest caves and most remote tundra, expanding our exploratory range without risking lives. Still others have been utilized for search and rescue missions or in cleanup operations after disasters such as Chernobyl. So, all right, so this is going to be everything. This is not just the famous, that's not even the famous lunar rover. Well, these things they're short and they're good little, very short introductions to subjects. I like them. I don't know that I have any at the moment.
I didn't see any.
No. There was one on birds. There was one on whales that I liked. So, do you think there's more of them in here? Unless there's maybe a lot in this one.
I didn't know they were used in places like Chernobyl. That's interesting.
Yeah, well, I think famously the one that they got, the lunar rover that they got, didn't work. The radiation killed it immediately, I think. Okay, this is a March release. Do we have a date? March 19th. Just next Tuesday. This is by Ron Corbett. This is a finished copy of Cape Race. What have we got here? Another Edgar Award-winning writer. Nominated. Okay, he had a debut called The Sweet Goodbye, which I think we saw on this channel in one of those 7,000 videos. I think we saw that. This is his follow-up to that. The FBI has 100 undercover agents who can work in the city, but Danny Barrett is the one they call when they need someone to investigate crimes in the wilderness. In this book, a particularly difficult case brings Danny to the rugged landscape of the Pacific Northwest, where he is caught between a family of criminals and the psychopath who is tracking them down. The author excels at bringing to life local rural communities while delivering gripping thrillers that explore the deep human connections of people who live in them. He's an avid outdoorsman. Okay, I think the publicist has asked me whether or not I got this, and I didn't think that I did. Now I do. And it sounds good enough to just pop down and write a review. Oh, goodness gracious. Okay, this is the summer. No, this is April. Okay, good, great. This is, what are you doing? This is a novel. Is this a debut? This is by Ellery Lloyd. No, he wrote he or she, whoever wrote the club. This is the final act of Juliet Willoughby. Want to stress here, in video number 7,000, my services for titling books are available 24 hours a day for free. If this thing sold 3 million copies on its opening day, she would write a sequel. You've already called it this. So don't do it. So don't do it. No plot descriptions. No nothing. No plot descriptions. No idioms. No stupid cliches. I can help you. Help me help you. Let's see here. Even in a surrealist exhibition designed to shock, Self-Portrait as Sphinx drew gasps. In that packed Paris gallery in 1938, the painting's central winged figure, half women, half feline, stared defiantly back at the assembled crowd, who leaned in to better decipher the intricate scenes playing out around her. A boat crossing an inky lake, a drowned young woman, a red-haired girl fleeing. Feelings. It says feelings. We can assume fleeing.
I think so. Yeah.
A red hair. Maybe she's like Alec Guinness in Murdered by Death. She's groping her way along. Maybe not. We'll say fleeing. Hailed as a masterpiece, but withdrawn by its creator, runaway English heiress Juliet Willoughby, after a single night on display, it was believed destroyed in an accidental studio fire that took both her life and that of her older, married artist lover. Or so it was believed. Okay, well, this comes out in June, so I can go on the June shelf, but I don't have to worry about it. Feels just a trifle heavy-handed, but, it's the execution that will do it, not the pub sheet. We got so much done this week.
We did,
oh
yeah.
My God, what a week. I'm just... All right. The rearranging of the books is just icing on the cake. Just icing. It's just amazing. You can do the little book room, but the little book room's so... I mean, if you have a little space like that, if you have a little book room of your own, you'll know it's so idiosyncratic that there's no way that you could have the unfeeling, ham-handed fingers of a stranger working all over this. Okay. Little bit of a mistake here, but we'll go over again. We'll go over this again. Just a bit of a mistake. Who is it? It's Joshua. Okay. This comes out in late March. I'm looking forward to this. I will write about it. I've written about this guy before. This is Invisible Mending. It's the best of the poet C.K. Williams. And this is a review copy. This is my second review copy. This is the time when they should be sending out the finished copies. And I'm sure that's what was meant to be in this envelope. And it's just a mistake, that's all. So I'll get on to the publicist first thing on Monday. And ask for... I want a finished copy of this. Definitely I do. But we might as well. And I will try to remember to leave a link to my piece about C.K. Williams. I very seldom write about contemporary poetry, but he was the last of these austere and wonderfully comprehensible poet figures. One of the last poet figures who could own a house in the suburbs from being a poet. So I wrote about him. I'm happy to write about this again. I'll try to leave a link. One thing that I meant to do on our video yesterday, our big unexpected book haul yesterday, was link to all the sorts of pieces that were mentioned there, maybe. India at War, I'm pretty sure I reviewed that.
Oh, you did? Okay.
And India Black and The Widow of Windsor. I'm pretty sure I wrote about that too. I'll try to remember to do that tonight, now that my tech is sorted. I swear, you ought to hire out for weddings and bar mitzvahs. It's been amazing. He sorted my tech. So it's no longer this rambling, endless scenery of crap work. Instead, it's exactly what it wants to be. Anyway, C.K. Williams is one of the most distinctive and enduring of the post-war American poets. Absolutely not. Nice of you to say. 2030, no one will ever remember him, and nothing of him will be in print. He was known above all for his long lines, the almost prose-like horizontal extensions of the poetic line combined with some of the techniques of prose, free indirect discourse and shifting perspective, to generate a poetry open to the forms of American life. He was fond of that. His idea was, when I'm writing a line of verse, the line of verse has to be as long as I want to put things in it. I'm not going to break it artificially, but I'm also not going to shorten it artificially. I know what I want this particular line to do, and it will be that long. She has plenty of one-word lines, but yeah, he is known for that. His was not the oracular pronouncement, but rather a keen eye, a developed ear, and an acute moral sensibility. All true. Whoever wrote this, all true. Maybe the book's author, maybe the editor just supplied them with this, but it is all true. He's also very good at the quiet moments of dawn and dusk. He's very good as a crepuscular poet. 2 centuries after he should have been. Let's see here. As William Deresiewicz wrote in the New York Times, do we need to lug in another critic? We've got a critic right here. I don't have any of Deresiewicz's books here. He's so good. He's so incredible. The book that he did on plane crashes is incredible. But he wrote in the New York Times, quote, everything in his work, well, yeah, thanks, in his work. Thanks for including that in sententious commerce. Did you mean his ragu? No, you meant in his work. Okay. Thanks for including that. That's great. You don't mean everything in his garage. Everything in his work is held up to the most exacting ethical scrutiny, beginning with the poet himself. All right, well, he pulled it out at the end. That's true. All you're doing is just sympathizing with all of them, because he's had to put up with this for a whole week.
7,000 videos you think you'd be used to it, but yeah.
Do you think you've watched a lot of them?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's incredible. I want to know if any of you think you've watched them all. That would be incredible. This book gives a sense of Williams' poetic development from the early poems praised by the likes of Anne Sexton, called Williams the Fellini of the written word. Let's just move on. To the development of a long line in his second and third books, which heralded further poetic innovation throughout his career. Okay. The sheet goes on to quote other critics. He's sick. We just had to move all their books. I don't have to quote from them. All right. Well, this is not what this should look like. But, here's an example of what the pub sheet was talking about, his famous long lines. You won't mind them at all, believe me. You won't think they're exorbitant or self-indulgent. I just want the finished copies. I'll make a mental note to do that. My first response was just to say, could you remind me on Monday morning send off a letter like that? But he'll be gone by then. And Frida doesn't speak English. Although, I think you can attest. Yeah, she comes awful close. Yeah. I say that all the time in videos. I don't think anybody believes me. You've seen it. She comes awful close. It really does feel like you have an alert kid in the room.
Yes.
Not a dog. My little princess is up on her window, which she can now see through because it's as clean as a bell. What do we got here? Now, if you're going to have that word in the title, there's only one thing I want to read. But I guess this is April. Okay, good, because I'm concentrating on April books later tonight. This is by Cara Thomas, and it's called Lost to Dune Road. No sandworms, no Atreides family. She made her adult fiction debut last year with Out of the Ashes. I think we saw that on this channel, which was inspired by the unsolved local mystery from the 1940s. The gritty thriller captivated both devoted fans of her best-selling YA novels and her new readers and earned high praise from Publishers Weekly. And this is her next thriller, which is even more closely tied to the headlines, as the self-professed true crime aficionado reimagines what might have happened in yet another too-close-to-home unsolved crime. Is it an unsolved crime I know? I'm always fascinated by this because we saw it I've documented my bookish life on this channel in 7,000 videos. We saw once, I think it was a little free library where I found a Nelson DeMille novel. Only reason I grabbed it is because it was in a UK trade paperback. And it was about a particular killer who was, I read the book, it was an old book of his, but the crime was unsolved, and the week after I read the book that I found at random in a little free library, the crime was solved. The killer was found, peacefully eating a TV dinner. It's just more than a decade ago, the bodies of several women who had gone missing were discovered near Gilgo Beach. It's the same crime. Oh my God, it's the same crime. Not far from where Thomas lives on Long Island. Known as the Gilgo case, the murders were unsolved until a recent 2023 arrest. It's the same crime. Fascinated, Cara researched the investigation and was horrified by the treatment victims and families received from law enforcement when a loved one was first reported missing. The police do not come off well in the Gilgo case, not at all. They had all been dismissed due to their history of sex work, and in most of the cases, police did the bare minimum to investigate their suspicious disappearances. Okay, well, I now know about this case because I read about it in Nelson DeMille's book, and then I followed it in the news. Great. Okay, an April book. Oh, we're getting there. Just an ordinary mail haul. I have a guest. My guest will be gone tomorrow, but just an ordinary mail haul to mark the occasion. But we will have to have a live stream as soon as I'm up for it. Oh, what's this? Don't stick it to the cover. Oh my God. Okay. All right. Okay. I've got a note here. The reason that what I'm fussing in off camera is somebody attached a note to the cover of the book, which is different from the publicity material that will be, inside the book. Actually, this is very useful to me. You would think, if you didn't know anything about the book world, the new book world, you might think that book publicists are all fired up about all their books. They're not. They're diehard readers just like you are. It's their job to promote everything. But if they want to get an editor or a reviewer, if they want that person to spend a little bit of extra attention, this one's a winner. That's not always true. I will quite literally be the judge of what is a winner and what isn't. But the fact that it worked on somebody like that at the publishing house means a lot. So this note actually means a lot. And this isn't fake. The publicist is doing their job by putting this in an envelope and mailing it to me. This is extra and real. So who knows? This is Shannon Bowring. Shannon Bowring. If Shannon Bowring is middle-aged and went to the Iowa Writers Workshop, I'm going to plot. All right, well, this is Where the Forest Meets the River. Lovely thing. This is all blurbs on the back, and I've got just the publisher's note, but there's got to be a description in here. Somewhere? No? No. All right, no, there isn't. This is the Europa Edition, and this author wrote The Road to Dalton. This is the sequel to that. So maybe some of you read this. Just give me, oh, it is. Here we go. Summer 1995. It's been 5 years since Bridget Thoreau's death shocked the small town of Dalton, Maine, leaving behind her husband Nate and their daughter Sophie, now a vibrant young child. Every day Sophie asks questions Nate doesn't always know how to answer, but he is intent on raising her with joy and shielding her from her grandmother Annette, who remains dangerously locked away in her grief. After his first year away at college, Greg Fortin is back in town for the summer to work at the family store. He knows he's expected to take over the hardware business eventually, but finding the words to tell them no and the truth about who he is has become his own Everest. Could the truth about who he is involve framing New Yorker cartoons? I wonder. That is a difficult conversation.
It's a good idea.
It is a very good idea. Yes, that's the thing. I get
a different week.
I get the best of both worlds here. I get to agree and mock at the same time. It's wonderful. Rose is finally okay. So we're getting lots of people here. Rose is finally rid of her abusive ex tomorrow morning. Tommy, who disappeared a few years ago. Though sometimes his presence is in the eyes of her oldest son and unnerves her. She and Nate are finding themselves drawn together by their children's play dates and into a delicate balance between friendship and the possibility of more. Okay, this is a big slice of small-town life. And Shannon Bowring has been nominated for the Pushcart and the Best of the Net. Was recently selected for Best Small Fiction. She holds an MFA from the University of Southern Maine. Oh, shoot. Okay, great. Looking forward to it. Oh, and then this last
That's
one.
it.
This is it. I think I know what this one is. At long last, getting to me after a whole Puccini opera. Okay. Yes. All right. Good. This is a finished copy of something that I'm going to be reviewing. Oh, this is kind of nice. Do you have any dates for me? No. All right. This is by Mark Fevo, and this is called Attacked, Pearl Harbor and the Day War Came to America. And you can tell by the design on the cover, this is going to have a lot of oral history elements to it. All I have with it is a note from my editor. That's good. It's finally with me. A single day changed the course of history. December 7th, 1941. Nobody American knew Japan's attack on Pearl Harbor was coming. Did FDR know? You're going to wade into the psycho line. Did FDR know? He knew that it was inevitable. He cut off their oil. They had to do something.
Yeah.
He knew that something was inevitable when he did that. I mean, what would be the alternative? They couldn't find oil anywhere else. Did he know and allow it? Filled with first-hand accounts, and photographs. This unflinching, action-packed narrative puts readers on the ground in Pearl Harbor through the real stories of a diverse cast of characters. Why would a Pearl Harbor book flinch? It's been almost a century. Of course it's going to be unflinching. Of course it is. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm flashing back. No. If you're going to have traumatic memories, it's going to be the Ben Affleck movie that caused them, not the event itself.
That is so bad. Oh my god. I saw that in theaters with my brother, and we're laughing.
But the money shot, where we follow the torpedo down into the Arizona, that is incredible. I mean, I agree, it's a terrible movie, absolutely terrible. I still remember, I wish I could remember where the review was. Every once in a while, a reviewer just He just gets it perfectly. And one reviewer mentioned the scene where Ben Affleck and who's the love interest?
I don't know names.
She loves one of the friends, and then when he dies, she loves the other one. But she's meeting with the other brother. The other friend is not Ben Affleck. It's Josh Hartnett. She's meeting with him, and she said, "Well, we were on track to a perfect romance and engagement, and then all this happened." And the critic pointed out how utterly dumb that is. She's referring to World War II. Then all this happened. From the attackers to the attacked. Oh, interesting. Oh, yeah. There are attackers on board. From attackers to the attacked, daring rescues to tragic losses, unlikely survival to quick-thinking responses, learn the stories of the men, women, and children who experienced that fateful day and its after effects. Ooh, very good. Very vivid. Award-winning author Mark Fevo sheds new, compelling light onto an important chapter in American history and explores the enduring lessons from an event that, once again, he says, we never saw coming.
What new light, too? I don't know.
Lots of radio traffic, wasn't there? Mm-hmm. Lots and lots of stuff that cryptographers were saying, we don't know what this is, but it's certainly not what it looks like. Mm-hmm. In the weeks leading up, I don't think it would. I'm not going full conspiracy theory walk here, especially not with him sitting right next to me. But I think there's grounds to wonder.
Oh, I do too.
At the very least, the consolation of hindsight. At the very least, you think, surely someone should have put all these things together and didn't.
I didn't buy it this week, but I did get some Toland. If you compare Toland's book and Pranga's book, those are two sides that I think they go together really nicely and published around the same time.
Now, I don't know Mark Favreau at all, but I know one detail about him.
I recognize that name.
I'm guessing I know one detail. I'm betting I know where he lives. Otherwise, I would not be getting this book. He's the director of editorial programs at the New Press. Acclaimed author of Crash, The Great Depression and the Fall and Rise of America.
I know that. Yeah, I think that might be how I know him. Yeah.
And Spies, The Secret Showdown Between America and Russia. It's always nice in stories like that you know exactly which side any U.S. president will be on. Just do whatever the hell you like with them.
FDR could have done better, though, too.
All of a nice country you got here. Be a shame if something were to happen to it. But I'm not going to spoil the 7,000th video with a rant. And remembering slavery, African Americans talk about their personal experiences of slavery and emancipation. Okay, so he's done oral histories before.
Those are all very different, yeah.
Okay, he lives in Martha's Vineyard. That is why I'm getting this book. So, in addition to showing you this book, my review will be appearing in the Martha's Vineyard Gazette, which is a big broadsheet newspaper shown to you a million times in these 7,000 videos, from the island of Martha's Vineyard off the coast of Massachusetts, which we did not reach. We got to the Cape,
no,
but we didn't get to the vineyard. Maybe next time. And that review will appear there. And again, just a tiny little note that if you want to read the Martha's Vineyard Gazette, and maybe you're motivated to do it because I show up there as a book reviewer, if you're buying your subscription, be sure to tell the editors there that that's the reason. That works for freelancers like me. So there you go. That's our mail haul for our 7,000th video. If there are 7 books here, I'm going to start to sing something from 1776. I didn't count.
Not sober, please.
Attacked, Pearl Harbor, Where the Forest Meets the River, a sequel to Road to Dalton, Lost on to Dune Road, the Gilgo case. Exact same thing I was talking about. Didn't know that when I opened the thing. The Best of C.K. Williams. It's still in the review copy. The finished copy is coming soon to a bookstore near you. The Final Act of Juliet Willoughby. Cape Rage. Very evocative cover there. A thriller. I think that one probably gets the nod for the thing I want to read first. Space Rover. A little thing. And To Die in June. So we have more than 7. We have 8.
No singing, my God.
Yeah.
Well, a little something for everybody there.
Yeah, it's a little something for everybody. And great. I have nowhere to put these. Every single flat surface is covered in the 100 and something books that I bought this week. But I will be organizing them and straightening them, and now my shelves, in this room anyway, make a lot of sense. So there'll be places for them, and we can do the other rooms next time.
You think I'm coming back?
Yes, you just
I got a lot of abuse in front of a lot of people.
You got a lot of abuse in front of a lot of people. And when the cameras were off, it was all choreless. So you're thinking, well, I could pay for a plane ticket to go to Boston. And on the other end, I'm saying, the septic tank.
And if you live in California, I can come say hi.
Yes. I'll work on it.
I'll go see Michael. That's what I'll do.
Yes. Stately Vaughn Manor. All right, well, we're going to go. One last night of John Wayne clips. And then we go our separate ways. Thank you all so much for watching. This has been unusual content this week here on this channel. Just endless book hauls, but it's been wonderful.
Yes, I'm sorry for taking away 4 of your 5 videos.
Yes. We will eventually go back to the full load of Steve videos. He has seen, I am always at work, but that means that I have large amounts of time. I get to structure it myself. I've been feeling a little guilty. And he's been making sure that I did. Because at every moment, even when you don't think it works in the conversation, he will drop in, I work 3 jobs. I think he even said it to the automated ticket taker at the parking garage. Place ticket here, I work 3 jobs. I don't do that, so I can get back to that, but we should end the video by warning you all. Those of you who have been watching this channel a long time will already know it. I don't want to say I go into depression because that's overdiagnosed in the 21st century, but I get mighty mopey when a guest leaves.
Especially me.
Especially you. Yeah. I even have with Michael K. Vaughan. I get mighty mopey when a guest leaves. It's not the same thing as when Frida and I leave the old house in Vermont and you can hear the cheering all the way up the road. I get mighty mopey, so I don't think I will make any videos tomorrow. Just so you know, just to plan accordingly. But I will gradually work my way back up. So thank you very much for this week. And thank you very much for 7,000 videos. That is just obscene.
It's amazing.
Thank you very much for all the comments, all the messages. And also, while I'm in mush mode, I might as well say, those 7,000 videos opened me up to the real world, to real things, to real friends who've been here. And Frida and I have been to your places. It's not just a social media thing. It's just not just a parasocial relationship. It's although you're probably at the point where you're wishing it were just a parasocial relationship. Where's the click off button? Oh no, there is no click off button when you're here.
I should have jumped out the window instead of cleaned them.
Yes, you should have jumped out the windows.
I had them open.
Anyway, I'm going to go. Thank you very much for visiting. I can say that on camera. I'll be back.
Thanks, Book 2.